and welcome to the Ganru Show. I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this is a podcast that's just like hanging out with your two best girlfriends.
We are continuing the Ganru Summer Shorts series.
And today we're in for a very special treat. Wanru will regale us with one of her favorite vacation memories.
Yes, so get those flip-flops out.
Loosen up that bikini top.
Wrap that sarong tight.
And make sure that window fan is on full blast. So, let's get started. Oh, I cannot wait for this. Wanru is going to be sharing with us today one of her favorite vacation memories. Wanru, go for it. I can't wait. I'm just like nice and chill here. Just sort of like in relaxation mode, ready to be story told.
So last year I had the privilege of visiting Japan, which has become an ever popular destination. And I can see why. There's good food, there's good transportation, and it's a convenient place to visit. But I wanted to share with you a story that it kind of dives into how deep the Japanese culture is and actually how mixed their history is as well. Meaning, you know, vacation should be fun and light, but you'll experience some sad and contemplative moments. And so I wanted to share a time that I had a couple of those interesting feelings when I was traveling.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I visited the city of, I'm trying to say it with the right accent, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. Or as we Americans say, Hiroshima. It is the site of where the atomic bomb was dropped. And I think that's what most people know about it. But besides for its very, very sad history and, of course, its place in World War II, it's actually a beautiful city, which I didn't expect because it was completely annihilated. They rebuilt it from the ground up, and throughout the planning and the building of the city, they've integrated the sense of peace, of contemplation, and they've integrated the sense of openness. When you walk in Hiroshima, I'm trying to say it the right way. When you walk through there, you feel a sense of openness because the buildings are relatively new. It's not crowded or congested like Kyoto or Tokyo. They're very congested. So it was a very contemplative space, which is highlighted by the Hiroshima National Peace. Let me start. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial, which is where they have a flame that burns eternally until the last nuclear weapon on Earth will be extinguished.
Wow.
Then they will extinguish that flame. So I took a moment there to honor all the people who passed away due to the atomic bomb. All Japanese visitors to the site will bow at the Peace Memorial. And, you know, I mean, I didn't know. I was there alone when I approached the Peace Memorial. But when I got there, I took a moment and I bowed. And I didn't know why. I just felt the urge to. And I saw that all Japanese actually did the same thing. They take a quiet moment to pay respect to those who have passed. So one of the highlights of visiting Hiroshima was going to a little island off of Hiroshima called Miyajima. So here you have such a somber place, a beautiful but somber place. Then you go to this little spiritual island and you feel like you're going to this Disneyland of Shinto shrines.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a Buddhist and Shinto island, which is embracing two of the main religions of Japan, Buddhism and Shintoism. And they kind of have created this spiritual retreat. You have to take a ferry from Hiroshima to Miyajima, and you will pass by an orange gate. Have you ever seen those pictures of the famous orange gate, Golda? It's like a pillar with two orange sort of beams across the top, and it floats in the water.
Like parallel bars. Yes. I've seen pictures of that.
Yes. So in Japan, it's widely used as a way to mark the place where you transfer from a place of just the normal world into a spiritual realm.
Ooh.
So before
I like that.
Isn't that beautiful? So
Yeah.
every time you enter a temple or any place that's spiritual, they actually have Torii Gate. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 or multiple ones that you pass through. So you might see a picture of an island with an orange gate in the water. That's Miyajima. It's one of those famous sites in Japan. So back in the day when they would take a boat, you would actually pass under the Torii Gate and you'd be sort of purified to get ready to go on this island. But then now, because we're tourists, we just flood onto this island en masse in a ferry. We just come off the boat, the dirty heathens that we are, and we just go onto the island. And I must admit, there is an element of just like market tourism. You know, there's plenty of shops, plenty of food, lots of deer. Lots of aggressive deer who will eat your food.
Do the deer just come up to you and just sniff you?
They will. They are like the most the cross between
aggro Bambis.
Yes. They are aggro Bambis. They're like militant deer. And if you crinkle a plastic bag, they will come over and they will snatch it out of your hand.
Do they bite?
Yes.
Wow.
They will not be afraid to put their head into your purse.
That's not something I would visualize from deer. I always think of deer as gentle, magical animals.
They look
passive.
So cute. But what they've learned is that by being cute, they don't get as much food as if they do by biting you on your hand and making you drop your whole bag of octopus chips or squid chips.
Ooh, octopus chips. You missed that little detail.
Exactly. All right, so you flood onto the island, onto Miyajima Island, and you don't pass through the famous orange Torii Gate, which is in the water. But now that I remember, when you get off the ferry, there's a large cement Torii Gate that you pass through. So actually, there is a place to go from the material realm to the spiritual realm. Okay, I take it back. Good job, Miyajima. Okay, they know what they're doing. But the deer, watch out. They are dangerous. So then you go on the island. There's many beautiful temples and shrines. There is a temple that has, I think, close to 1,000 or 2,000 little Buddha statues.
Wow.
And each one, they knit a little crochet hat and they put it on top.
Why is that?
Just to respect.
Because they'll get cold?
Because they're bald-headed. Little bald-headed statues.
It's very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
To cold.
Yeah, so it's so funny. So they fused two of the most ancient religions. So Buddhism, they represent with a little Buddha. And Shintoism is actually appreciation of all living things. It could even be a stone or a tree or whatever, that there's a spirit in everything and you respect that spirit. So what they did was they took the Buddhist statue and they multiplied it by 1,000. Then to respect each one, they knit a little crochet cap. I think because it looks cute too. And they put them on them.
Who's they? The people who come to visit? Or is there a organization that's responsible for that?
Like the Buddhist Crochet
Association?
Hat association. I think it's the caretakers of the temple.
I see.
Yeah. But it's a cool, very
that's
cool.
Cute.
It's very cute. It's a very cool tourist destination as well. So you can visit all the temples, you can visit all the different shrines that they have, all beautiful, picturesque. Orange soaring pagodas, right? Beautiful shots of rivers and the famous Torii Gate in the ocean. The deer walking by. Looking very picturesque, although they're aggro Bambis, and just watch out. But they're great to take photos of. But I also decided to explore the mount or the highest part of Miyajima, which is a place called Mount Misen. And it is the spot where the famous monk called Kobodaishi established his practice. So the whole island of Miyajima was hand-selected by Kobodaishi, the famous Buddhist monk, as his resting place and where he was going to teach Buddhism. So he went there and established it probably around 1,200 years ago in the year 806 AD. And his temples and shrines still exist to this day.
Wow.
Yes. So to get there.
Good engineering.
Amazing. And not to mention, the monks also have maintained it all these years. So that's amazing. So to get there, you could take a cable car for like $12, or you can hike. Okay. So I thought, well, I could get some exercise. And so I did this very tiring hike to the top of Mount Misen. Okay. And I hiked up there. I was sweaty as hell. But it's a pleasant hike. A lot of people were in good spirits and they would greet you as you walk down. They would say, I don't know, is that nice? They would say,
on their way down, they would say kind of encouraging words, kind of a thing, or
everybody as they walk by would say hello in Japanese. They would say Konnichiwa.
oh, that's lovely.
Isn't that lovely?
They didn't just ignore you and avert eye contact
No.
like they do in Los Angeles. Very different.
Very different.
Sounds
right?
very different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe because we were in a spiritual place because they weren't saying konnichiwa any place else. But, as you were hiking up and you're like trudging and sweating, everyone that was coming down was konnichiwa, konnichiwa.
I love that.
Nice. Yeah. So maybe everyone was in a good mood. Okay. So I went to the top of Mount Misan, beautiful views. You can see why the famous monk picked this place for, for meditation and tranquility. And the highlight of Mount Misan is there's a place called Rikaido Hall, Eternal Fire Hall. There is a fire that was lit by Kobayashi in 806, and 1,200 years later, it burns to this day.
It never extinguished since then?
Okay, yeah, so that's a good question. Because supposedly...
It's never...
Obviously, Kobayashi has passed away, so it's somebody else that's got to maintain it, right?
There's no video to prove this.
There's no photographic evidence. But I trust the monks.
Sure.
I'm
sure they're good for it.
They're good for it. Because someone said, don't you think there was a monk that fell asleep? And when he woke up, he's like, oh, shit. And then he was starting the fire again.
Yeah.
You think that's possible, Golda?
Entirely possible. Because a big gust of wind comes. You can't do anything without that.
True. Run out of wood.
Uh-oh. Poor planning, monk.
Yes, exactly. But if you see how organized the Japanese are.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that they wouldn't plan for any foreseeable situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 806. They were so specific about the date. So 806 AD, that's when we started the fire, and we've been burning it for 1,200 years. And I was like, I don't think the U.S. has anything that's lost. Have we?
Nope, we sure don't. Disneyland's been around since 1948. I don't know if that's true.
And they've rebuilt that place 5 or 6 times. It's not like they have the original statue, right?
Right.
Everything gets tore down and redone here,
Renovated.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the original fire is there. It's enclosed in a little temple. And over the fire is an iron pot which burns water. Not which does, but contains.
I was like, stew?
I know.
Lunch is ready.
It contains water.
Very practical flame.
Very practical flame. I'm sure it's contained stew in the past, but in this case,
it's just water.
Just water.
Okay.
And this water, if you drink this water, it's supposed to heal you.
What?
Exactly. But since it's called the eternal flame, a lot of lovers have gone there to try to drink the water so they can, preserve their love.
How do you get access to this water? You have to bring a ladle?
They have it all there for you. That's how organized the Japanese are. Yeah.
So they so they hand you a glass of water and say it's from the bowl?
So what you do is you walk in,
Uh-huh.
and then it's full of smoke, obviously. This little temple. So you're like, right? It's just this is what happens when you have
Serenity now.
Exactly. This is good. Eternal flame. This is good for me. And what happens is they have a stack of paper cups, and you just grab a cup, you go to the ladle, and you pour it in yourself out of the iron pot, and you drink it.
That's lovely.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
But since the Japanese are so organized, I made a mistake. So I went up to the cups, and I grabbed a paper cup, and this Japanese lady comes out, and she's like, she's speaking Japanese to me. And she's gesturing, and I was like, oh, I made a faux pas, because I'm this heathen Westerner. And here I am just grabbing these paper cups. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing.
Okay.
And what she was trying to indicate is that there is a new cup pile and a discard cup pile. But
don't get the used one.
But you can't tell because the Japanese are so tidy. The discard pile looked as clean as the new one.
My discard pile would have MAC red is now lipstick on it.
Exactly. Or in the States, it'd be a huge pile of crumpled up cups. Right?
Yeah, with some Cheeto bits in there.
Yeah, like a Gatorade bottle. Like, how'd that get there? This is not a trash can. This is a temple. But no, they had stacked them on top of the dirty ones. So I thought that was the clean one.
Okay.
So the lady ran out, was like, no, don't drink from there. Don't drink. So then I had a nice girl who spoke English translate and said, this is the clean and this is the discard.
Okay.
So I got a clean cup. She showed me how to ladle it. And
it was hot water?
It was boiling hot
in
water.
a paper cup?
In a paper cup.
Didn't it like just burn right through the paper cup?
I thought it would, but it's a miracle. It didn't.
Oh, it's the temple.
It's the temple.
It's the magic of the temple, the spirituality of the temple.
And everyone's always like, how did it taste, right?
Yeah, how did it taste? Where'd they get this water from?
I don't know. A questionable source. Spring. I imagine the spring.
The leftover water bottles that are strewn around.
I think the monks would probably go to the stream and get the stream water. I hope, in my mind. All I knew, it was like drinking liquid smoke. It was so smoky.
Really?
And I was drinking it and I was like, this is good. It's good for me.
Oh, wow.
So I choked it down. I choked it down. But I felt good after.
No hepatitis A.
No cold sores. No, nothing. It was great.
Wonderful.
So I came out, I felt renewed. I continued my journey to the very, very top of Mount Misa and took some beautiful pictures and sort of took in the 360 view. And I came back down to reality, back to Hiroshima. And later I found out that the light that burns in the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, the one that they lit to commemorate all the people who passed away and as a symbol of peace to the world, that fire was obtained from Rikaido Hall, the Eternal Fire Hall on Miyajima Island.
Oh.
The fire that had burning for 1,200 years is the one used to light the Peace Memorial flame. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense and very meaningful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And now I carry that as a piece of me inside of me. The smoky water with the pieces of ash. And, I'm glad I drank it. I want it to be integrated in me, that there's such a, how should I say, that there could be something meaningful that lasts that long, that peace can persist in this world, and that, you can bring that peace with you in your lifetime.
I love that. I love the message that a place that you could visit will not only give you this wonderful experience, but will also teach you something and symbolize something that you can carry for the rest of your life. Versus other places that you visit, not so meaningful. Just kind of pretty, right? But this sounds like something that goes a lot more deep on a humankind level. Wow, that's lovely. Makes me want to go, actually.
Yeah.
Shall we go?
Absolutely. Are you guys going to do that hike?
I love it.
Or
how long is the hike? Let me ask you. If you were to measure it by steps on the Fitbit, how many steps would that be?
I have no idea, but I hiked for about an hour.
Oh, boy. And when you say hike, you mean uphill, right?
Yes.
You mean it's like being on a staircase for an hour?
Like a very low grade staircase, but yes. And
but you have
breaks. You could take breaks.
And
people are encouraging you.
And that boiling pot of water is in one of the breaks.
No, it's at the very top.
Oh, it's at the very top.
I would say like 9/10 to the way to the top.
Is there a cafeteria midway?
No.
Okay.
There is the cable car.
Okay. Out all the way to the top?
To the Eternal Fire Hall.
It's kind of, but do you feel like it felt more meaningful for you that you actually went through this physicality to get to the top? Do you think you would have felt the same had you just taken the cable car?
Good question. I probably wouldn't have. I enjoyed the camaraderie of passing by other hikers.
Yeah.
But I also was trying to be cheap. That was my main motivation.
How much was it?
It's like $12.
$12 US. I
got a good, cool experience.
You spend more for like a cup of coffee.
Exactly. So let me just wrap up by saying, the reason why Japan is such a special place to visit is because their history is so, so deep.
Yes.
And unlike, my family's from Taiwan, it's a relatively new country established right after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't have these relics and temples. There are some, but not to the degree that they have in Japan. So I wanted to give a little history lesson as to what was happening in the 800s when Kobadaishi established this temple. Okay. In the 800s, not 800s AD, the Vikings were raiding Europe.
Those pesky Vikings. Were raiding while this lovely monk was building this shrine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Plague had not even started yet.
Oh my goodness. When did the Black Plague start?
1348.
Wow.
Right? It was before Joan of Arc. Before the adoption of the modern numbering system. We didn't have like 0, 1 through 10 yet.
What was it?
I have no idea. I don't know what
like if someone in the 700s wanted to say, hey, can I have 2 bananas?
I don't know.
What did they say?
No idea.
Like, bananas.
Yes. I don't think they had bananas because they didn't. They discovered the Americas.
Or goats, whatever. Deer,
biting deer.
How much for deer? Not that it matters because we don't know what numbers are. Was there money? Was there a currency?
I think, I don't quote me. I don't think there was paper currency yet. China was the first country to invent it. And
Of course they were.
They had
They
coins.
invented everything.
Yeah, they had coins, but no
smart
currency. How could they? They don't have the number 0. Right? It's just insane. So if you think about what was happening when Kobadaishi lit that flame for the first time.
That's a lot of perspective.
The Vikings were sailing around. There's no modern day Europe, modern day England, modern day nada, not modern day civilization, nothing.
This is early days.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, nothing's been established. But they don't know that. They didn't know what they didn't have, though. Don't feel sorry for them. They didn't know the iPad was coming.
How did you say the number 2 again? What about 3 bananas? Thank God we don't have.
Thank you, numbers.
Thank you, numbers. Thank God we have to go through this whole song and dance every time we want to get like 2 cups of coffee.
That just makes me wonder, when were the pyramids built?
Oh, gosh, like 10,000 years ago.
Right. So before, right? That was a lot of engineering. And there were no numbers. That gives me pause. This is like segueing into a whole other
no, there were numbers, but they're not the modern numbering system that we have. 0, 1 through 10.
I see.
We're used the 10 base system right now, right? 10, 20. They had something.
Okay. Like birds. Take pictures of birds. That meant 1.
I think that little scratches on like urns and stuff.
I see.
Like scratch, cross or something. But they didn't have the concept of arithmetic and addition and subtraction. That's too modern. Okay.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah, that's
fascinating.
Crazy. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing. It blows my mind.
I know.
You know, when you think about people in history and when things happened. And then, because I think that's another benefit of vacations is it puts you in another time, not only in another place,
yes,
but another time, and hopefully helps you appreciate what you have in the present.
And I would like to say that the Japanese people are some of the most respectful, well-mannered people in the world. And I would say that with every culture, there's something to learn, pros and cons. But I think that they have such a beautiful and well-organized society, but they sacrifice some of their own personal freedoms so that they can live in a society like that. I think there's a lot of sacrifice and hard work that they do to make sure that the community is supported. So that's something I learned from
Wonderful.
the Japanese.
Wonderful.
So that's my vacation story.
What a lovely vacation. How many days were you there?
10 days. And I think that was enough to see the whole country.
Okay. And how many days were you in Miyajima? Just that
one day. One day.
Wow, 1 day and all of that like lifetime of experience.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. What about Hiroshima? Same day?
2 days, 2 to 3 days in Hiroshima. Yeah.
Okay.
So highly recommend.
Wonderful.
So
well,
enjoyed this story, please share with a friend.
Yes.
Especially someone who might be traveling to Japan so they don't miss this experience.
Absolutely. We love it when you do share the show with your friends and with your family and strangers and casual acquaintances. Every share on social media, every email, every way that you're able to teach someone even how to sign up and listen to a podcast helps us tremendously. So thank you. Thank you. We know countless numbers of you have already done that. And we encourage you to spread the word even more. Thank you so much for joining us on Spotify.
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast. And of course, you can watch the full-length video on YouTube at The Ganru Show.
And you can also ask your HomePods, such as Google Play,
Alexa and Siri.
Yes, and you can ask them to play The Ganru Show, and they'll play every episode if you ask them to.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, until next time, I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this has been The Ganru Show Special Summer Shorts Edition.
Bye.